Hello, crafty friends. This is Julia. As promised, today I'm sharing my very first card with the new Lawn Fawn release, and I decided to go for a fall-themed card with the cute little mice. So for this one, I started by stamping out all of my images onto Transotype Perfect Coloring paper, and now I'm masking off the trunk of the tree to stamp in a wood grain pattern with the wood grain backdrop stamp from Lawn Fawn. Just using some post-it note tape to mask off everything around. Just placing the stamp, and then I'm stamping with the Memento in Rich Cocoa, which is like a really dark brown. And this is really great because it's Copic friendly, so you can color over it without it bleeding. Then for my red shade, I'm using R39 for all of the apples, R35, R24, and a little bit of R29 as well, and then R22 as the lightest shade. And I just colored the rest of the apples off camera because there were a lot of them. Then I'm using YG60s for my green shade, YG67, 63, and 61. This is my project for this week for Muni's Bastelkiste. This is where I bought all of my Lawn Fawn supplies from this release. And Muni is actually super generous in giving all of the design team a 10% off discount code to share with our viewers and followers. So I will leave all the information down below. So to everyone watching from Europe, you can check out the store and you can get 10% off your order. For my blues, for like a jeans blue, I used B90s. The darkest shade was B99, 97, 95, 93, and 91. And then my favorite E50s for my cute little mice. I will also leave all of the colors as like an overlay in the top left corner, so you can easily reference them. I started with E57, blending that out with E55. Just adding a little bit of shading on the edges, and I always add my shadows depending on where the mouse or the critter is facing. So like for the one that's holding the apple, it's looking to the right, so I'm adding the shadows on the left side and doing the same thing for the others. Most of the images are from the new Apple-solutely Awesome, except for the mouse on the right. That's from the Berry Special. And I thought it would be really cute to have like two mice in overalls on the card, so I stamped both of them. I cut all of my images out using my brother's Scan and Cut, which is why I pre-cut them, because I didn't want to risk coloring all of the images and then the machine messing them up. Then I'm just using E59 to draw in a few little of the wood grain like streaks that I didn't stamp. I could have masked off all of the apples and everything around it, but honestly, that sounded like too much work, so I just quickly drew in some strokes. And then I'm using E30 markers to color in the tree. I used the same shades on the like little baskets with the apples and the sign and the ladder. Just using the wood grain stamp to color in some of the like rounded areas a little bit darker so that there's some nice movement in the tree. And I'm just going up all the way to E30 as my highlight shade. I just wanted to make sure that I use a different brown color than I used on the mice. Then for my background, I'm using Tumbled Glass and Broken China Distress Oxide. And I decided I didn't want to like fuss around too much, so I'm just ink blending straight onto a panel. I didn't cut any hills or anything like that. Just ink blending a background with like a slight fade at the bottom to the like grassy area. I'm also adding some splatters of broken china and a little bit of the liquid Stardust from Lawn Fawn, just to add some shimmery splatters. I just added water to both, and then I'm using a small brush and an acrylic block, as well as just splattering them on with like tapping with my finger. The tapping on the acrylic block gives you like super fine splatters, and just tapping the brush by hand gives you a bit bigger splatters. Then I'm using Shabby shutters and peeled paint. I really like this color. It's not so vibrant. I really wanted it to be more of a fall colored card, so it didn't go for like Malwood Lawn or Twisted Citron. This is more like muted. That's the word I was looking for. Then I'm heat embossing the sentiment onto a strip of black cardstock, and this is also from the stamp set. It's Have an Apple-solutely Awesome Day. This barely fit on the card, but it fits, so it's all good. It was a little bit wider than I anticipated, but it ended up being okay. I'm just using a little brush to brush off any of the stray embossing powder, and then I'm using my heat gun that was already heating up before taking it to the paper, and then I'm just melting the embossing powder. Then I'm using the simple banner dies, I believe they're called. This is the thinnest of the sentiment banner strips, and I'm just using some post-it note tape to hold it in place because I wanted to give the sentiment banner some nice, like the fishtail ends. And I'm just running it through my die cutting machine, carefully removing the post-it note tape, and that creates my cute little banner for the sentiment. I cut one of the trees in half because that way I didn't have to color 3 trees, but it looks like it extends the scene. And then I added the inside scalloped, no, the reverse scalloped rectangle as like a framing for my card. I barely ever use these, but they're so pretty, so I knew I put them out to make a point to use them because they're so pretty. And then I'm just adding all of my images, the tree as well as the mouse and the little basket of apples in front of the middle tree are propped up with some foam squares, and the rest is just adhered with liquid glue. I'm also adhering the sentiment with foam squares, but they're like half the height of the rest, so that the images still stand out a little bit more. And then I just added quite a few apples all around the scene just to fill it up a bit more. Of course, the one that's munching on the apple had to go in the center. And then I realized that it was quite bottom heavy and there was nothing really going on at the top of the card. So I just quickly added a few little stitched clouds that I'm currently not quite sure where they're from. I had them die cut on my desk, but I will look it up and leave it in the description box down below, which die set those are from, because oh, I think it's from the platform pop-up. That's where those are from. Oh, there we go. Then I'm just adding some white gel pen details to all of the like apples, the leaves, and to the overalls from the mice. And for the longest time, I was terrified to like add like a gel pen over top of the coloring because if you mess up the gel pen, it could mess up the coloring. But actually, I found that what you can do if you're really quick, if you messed up, just wipe it off and then go over it with the same Copic markers, and you can't even see it, and then you can just add the highlight again. So, quick tip, really works well because I had to do that here. And that finishes off my card for today. I'm so ready for fall. I'm super excited, and I had so much fun playing with the first set from this release. I will have lots more videos coming up because I'm super excited to just dive in, and I hope I'll see you again next time. Until then, have an amazing day. Bye!